Hey, what are your thoughts on manifestation? I have with me today a gentleman, Adonis Bornson, who is a manifestation coach, an incredible guy, super down to earth and easy to talk to. He's going to share some of his insights with us today on his journey with manifestation and how it's actually affected his life and how it's made his life the life that he was always wanted. And he takes us on that journey. So listen up and like and follow for more. Subscribe to the station. There's going to be a lot more stuff like this coming in. So enjoy this. You'll have lots of fun. It's very laid back and, no pressure. So we're just chatting amongst ourselves and sharing some information with you. So enjoy it. Take care and have an amazing day.
Hi, I'm Kevin Raymond. I'm with Kevin Raymond Coaching, and I'm really excited today to bring here with us Adonis, who is a manifestation coach and an absolutely incredible guy. So, also my first guest, which is really exciting as well. So, yeah, awesome, right? And I think it's really appropriate because of what you do and what I want this channel to be all about. I think it's really great that we're starting off with this type of mindset kind of kickoff. So I'm just gonna jump right in and ask you just to give us a quick kind of story about how you got involved in actually doing something like this. Like what drew you to it?
Yeah, absolutely. So from a young age, I would say my imagination, that was the big thing. I've always had
Right.
a very wild imagination. And I can always remember maybe being around like 16, 17, always wanted to do something in film, kind of along the lines of what I'm doing, even like owning businesses, being real
Hmm.
successful, like that. But I would visualize it, I would sense it, but I was like, oh, we'll see kind of how it goes along. And within that, I can look back now, starting it from there, like that journey, how everything has kind of flowed into one and every aspect of my life. It's like I was visualizing it, imagining it, and then it would all kind of come into pass and all
Right.
correlates with each other.
Cool. So when did you sort of discover like that it was actually like manifestation stuff? Like when did
For
that
sure.
kind of come to you?
For sure. The first thing I'll say, the big thing for me was my wife. When I met my wife,
Okay.
I, let's say probably 5 years prior to meeting my wife, had many girlfriends I would date and whatnot. Nothing ever really clicked. It never was there. And I can remember, I forget when it was the day, but I just can remember going, okay, universe, God, like I want to be with someone really good. Like I know there has to be. And that was the thing.
Right.
Knew there had to be a true soulmate for me. And I kid you not, I mean, from her blue eyes, the blonde hair, her personality, everything, I just kept envisioning. I would do this a lot of times too. I'd go, at the time I was living in Southern California, I'd go on a run along the beach all the time. And I would envision me like being with her, seeing her, we'd be going on a date, like things like that over and over and over
Hmm.
again. And lo and behold, I can remember I was going on a few bad dates and I just was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm detaching from this. And I kid you not, the next day she reached out to me on a dating site and I was like, what the heck is this? This is
Wow.
crazy. Every part of her personality trait, it was everything I envisioned and even more. And at first I was like, okay, there has to be something wrong. No,
Yeah.
yeah, that was my first moment where I really was like, okay, there's something to this here. If you really visualize,
Hmm.
you like vividly know and believe that it's possible, it's going to come into your life at the right time. And
Exactly.
that was the big thing where I was like, okay, there's something
Yeah.
here.
So that was around what 2013, I think. You mentioned.
2013. Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
2013.
Okay.
And I will tell you another one here, a huge one for me. Oh, it's coincides with her is that when was it? Maybe like again another 5 years before that. My dad and I were watching this movie Jeremiah Johnson about this mountain man. It was Robert Redford. He goes out into the
Yeah.
wilderness. I was 18 at the time, and I can remember saying, "Dad, I'm going to do this." And he's like, "What are you talking about? You're crazy. No one does that anymore." That was back in the day, and I'm like, "No, I want to do this. There has to be a way." And I wanted the beard. I was like, I got to be like this guy. And again,
Yeah.
another manifestation that came to pass is my wife and I, she was kind of into gardening and country stuff. I was like a really city boy. I didn't know anything about
Hmm.
that. Me and her, the circumstances worked out right where we moved off grid. We moved to North Idaho. We built a log cabin from trees that we bought on this property. I mean, I did what I wanted to do. And again, I was
Yeah.
visualizing, and really that one is still blows me away. I really wanted to be Jeremiah Johnson. I wanted to be this mountain man,
Yeah.
and it freaking
And there
happened.
you go. That's awesome. So, like one of the things that you said was that with the right mindset and persistence, anybody can achieve like their dreams and their goals. And like, do you really believe that? Do you really believe that's if that is true? Why do you think so many people are not capable of doing that?
Absolutely. That's a great question. The biggest thing holding everyone back is themselves. That's the biggest thing I found was I see this a lot with my clients all the time. Adonis, I want to be a millionaire. Adonis, I want this person. Adonis, I need my ex back. But they don't understand like they're the same person they are. They want to be
Hmm.
this business person, have all the success, but they don't want to even put work into the job they have now, and that's
Yeah.
where that mindset, I believe so much that we're not manifesting like a person or the abundance, but we're more manifesting ourselves becoming that. And that's the same,
Exactly.
goes back to me being in the woods, being Jeremiah Johnson. I got my butt kicked doing it, but I became it. And over time, like everything led to that. If the next day, like when my dad's like, you're crazy, if I would have just hopped in the car and went somewhere, yeah, I probably would have failed and been like, okay, I
Yeah.
want to go home. But I did things
Yeah.
leading up to it and became that person.
That's why it's so great that you're actually my first guest because the biggest thing, like I'm a performance coach, right? Like a performance mindset coach.
Yeah.
And the biggest issue with so many of my clients is the fact that they are the reason that they're not able to achieve the things that they want to achieve, right? And it's always that thing that it's sitting right in front of your face, and
Right.
it's the one thing that you avoid all the time, right? Like
All the
it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Um, so it's a lot of people equate manifestation to basically setting clear intentions and goal setting and having it all laid out and stuff like that. So like what's your take on that? Like I'm assuming that you have clients as well, right? So
Yeah.
so what kind of an approach do you take with your clients to get to that point?
Absolutely. The major thing, like you kind of just said it, you got to have the goal first.
A reason.
There has to be a reason. Like I have some clients where they don't even know, and that's fine. It's like, hey, like, it, go about your day with a positive attitude, but you got to have those times where it's like, what do I want? Write it down,
Yeah.
think of what the goal is. I mean, if there's no goal, there's no direction. You could go any which way, but
Yeah.
have a vision. And I'll say this, you've probably done this, you've heard this, you've seen like a vision board. It is a staple of it. It's great. I can remember my vision board from 5 years ago. Everything on the list is came to pass, and it's like wow,
Yeah.
like, and there's just something to it. Writing it down, I would say that's the first approach, and then from there, the biggest. It's so crucial, but it's so simple. Like you said, the mindset. The mindset is everything, and my clients that do the best where it's like even blows my mind like the success is so
Mhm.
intense and incredible is they believe it, they like believe everything's going to be okay, and they just detach and enjoy their life. But the clients that have the most issue is the control, like Adonis, when's that happening? I felt this way,
Yeah.
Adonis. It's
Yeah.
that nervous attention to where they want to control every little thing. And it's like, to have control, you almost have to let go of the control and let the universe bring it on in.
I think with that, where you see you have to let go of it, because I think a lot of people struggle with actually just maintaining that belief that self talk and envisioning and doing, I recently had a client that, the same kind of thing, like do a vision board, like understand what a vision board, and if writing it down is not enough, you find a picture and glue
Yeah.
it to your vision board, like to see where you want to do it. Like, so how do you get people past that point where, they just, it's similar to like, a religious belief or something like that. Like they just don't believe it. They can't see it. They don't think it exists. And, you talk to people about, you are what you say. So like if you're
Yeah.
talking shit to yourself, you're gonna just have a shit existence, right? So like, why
100%.
are you doing that? Like, why are you constantly putting yourself in that position? How do you help people get past that?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great question. Like a huge thing, I'll say this is like my day one with every client. Let's say it's for you know, a soulmate, an ex, like they want someone back in their life or they want to attract somebody. The first thing I tell them is you need to attract everybody. You need to go
Hmm.
out of, you leave your door, you need to say, I am so attractive. I am a god, a goddess. Everywhere I go, everyone's attracted to me. I mean, the aura, my whole essence is just attracting everybody. And you have to, it's fun. It's so different. Like we're always told, oh, don't be egotistical, kind of blend in, be
Yeah.
quiet. And like that's the problem. Our whole life we're told, no, you're not good enough. Oh, don't get attention. That's wrong. That's disgusting. It's such a bad notion put towards it. And that's where I'm saying, let's do the opposite. Let's take it to the extreme just to get you out of that funk. And I have seen
Hmm.
so many clients where it's in a day or two, it's like, oh my God, Adonis, like, especially with my female clients, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm getting so much male attention. I love it. I've never felt this way. I feel like a goddess. Or the same thing. My male clients, it's like, dude, I feel like the freaking man. This is amazing. And just from that first step alone, now we have momentum. Now it's okay. I feel really good because I think one of the most dangerous things we can do, and it's kind of might sound like an oxymoron within it, but if we're too obsessed with our manifestation, we're almost pushing it away.
Away.
And
Yeah.
that's, if we need it too badly, that's a very dicey area, And I think that's where
Right.
the true law of attraction happens, where you can't need it too bad. If someone it's like, oh my God, please, if someone comes up to you, hey, give me your money. I need money. I need money.
Yeah.
Get the heck away from me. And it's the same thing. If you want to be successful, you got to be relaxed with it, cool, and almost in a sense, have money be attracted to you, want to come to you.
Exactly. Right. Because it's got to be something that's real. Like it can't be a fantasy sort of, you know,
Yeah.
of what you
Yes.
want. Right. So
Yes.
one of the things, like, I mean, in watching some of your videos and things, a lot of times you mention like authenticity. And
Yeah.
so what does that mean to you?
I love that question. It's honestly when we can be, this might sound really like contradictory to like good vibes, that bad vibes, but we have to be true to ourselves. And even if that means sometimes ruffling some feathers or not, or like we gotta
Yeah.
own up to the things that we're not good with, that like maybe we have an anger issue, maybe we have a bad fear with certain things, but owning it, knowing it, and then but the same thing too, being positive, being ourselves. Like I think with me, like I mean, even I always say to myself, even for my Marvel tattoos, I got the gauntlet on my hand.
Yeah.
Like I just was like, you know what? It's Marvel, it's silly, it's like that's just what I am. I'm gonna do kind of what I like. And it really, I think the biggest thing with authenticity is you have to do it for yourself. And I think there's a lot of people that do things either to their appearance or they act a certain way to get attention from others
Yeah.
other than for themselves. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Yeah.
dude, if you want to be the most goofy, flamboyant, whatever you want to do, if that's truly you and that makes you feel good,
Yeah.
absolutely do it. But don't ever do something for others just to make them feel good. I heard this thing the other day and oh God, I loved it. It was, if you're fake, everybody will like you. But when you're authentic, people are going to love you and they are going to hate you. Like, and that's the thing.
Yes.
People don't want that.
And
People would rather be fake and just be liked by everybody instead of,
yeah,
hey, some people are going to adore you, but you're going to have people that cannot stand you, you know?
that is so true.
Yeah.
And such a, like, it's just such a factual thing, right? Like authenticity really is exactly
Yeah.
who you are. And you know, I've talked to a lot of people on that same subject, just in terms of you know, because it's based on your value system and what you're all about. And that's one of the things I enjoy about watching your videos, because they're all like, they're just you. And it's just like, you know, when you feel, and we talked a little about this before, it's just like, oh, fucking listen to me, right? Like the way you just like, just listen to
It
what I'm
started.
saying, right? Like, don't have time for your shit, listen to what I'm saying. And it's just, and that's who you are, right? And that's what makes it so real. And that's what attracts people to you, and then and they want to hear more from you, because that is what it is, right? um
Yes.
so something that I think myself coincides with authenticity and how people are is, you know, you've heard the phrase, you know, your past does not define your present or your future, right?
Yeah.
But I think sometimes there's people get confused with that. And
Yeah.
that's where maybe the lines get crossed on authenticity, where, you know, they're trying to change their past, which is, as we know, impossible. And they
Yeah.
try to become somebody not like that, as opposed to discovering who they really are by owning up to it or acknowledging it, whether it's, you know, something that you did or something that was done to you, right?
100%.
What do you think
Yes.
about that?
I agree 100%. I'm going to say more on my male clients here. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
times within relationships, they, for lack of a better term, they fuck up. They will fuck it up,
Yeah.
but they will, to me, kind of play the victim a little bit. And that's the same thing where I'm like, dude, you know what? Own up to it. You screwed up with her. Maybe it could be two spectrums. Maybe you cheated, or maybe you were so uh like the word like simpish, just so
Yeah.
needy, pushed her away. And I'm like, dude, you know what? If you own it, then we can move forward. You can't keep hiding and blaming someone else. And I think that's a big thing. A huge thing with authenticity is falling into the blame, complain, turns into the victim mindset. And
Yeah.
I'll use another thing I heard the other day is you can't, like, when you complain, you make yourself a victim.
Yeah.
You're claiming
Yeah.
those on the, and you can't, you know, some of us have gone through horrible freaking things. And I'm not saying that. There's a big difference between having actual trauma, and then
Yeah.
there's a big difference with, oh, I don't like this, or I'm bored, or it's too hot outside. There's some people that just that gravitate towards that. And it's like, you're not being yourself. You're just being this victim character at that point.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's totally correct and on the nose, because it is because people do struggle with that, right? And they
Yeah,
can't
for
and they
sure.
can't sometimes differentiate the from the two. And then
Yeah.
they kind of collide, and that's what messes everything up. And something that I've always kind of tried to instill in my clients is, you know, you can't live in your past because you can't change it. You can go back and look at it and learn from those, and take lessons from it. And you can't live in
Yes.
the future because you don't have no idea what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So you have to live in the present, and by being in the present, you're actually exposing yourself to the opportunities that are there for you, right? Because
Yes.
you're seeing what's actually happening for you, right? Where,
Yeah.
when you're concentrating on the past and the future, you miss what's right in front of your face, right? All
Totally.
the time. So you have to be in that line, right?
100.
Yeah, like it's just, and again, it's surprising that some people find it so difficult to do that, because they're so wrapped up in what happened to them,
100%.
right?
One thing I
And
want to say
that's,
too, that, or just real quick on the future
yeah,
part,
yeah,
and this is something I've really noticed recently, and I have such a problem with it. It's like this is a double-edged sword, what I'm going to say. So obviously on YouTube, TikTok, there's so many multimillionaires, even billionaires, kind of sharing their stories,
yeah,
sharing how to become successful, grind, 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 hustle, 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 always be thinking about the future. I have done this so often as well within my manifestations or just daily life that I had a huge epiphany the other day. I was so focused on the future and future, I didn't even have time to spend with my dogs. And I mean, I'm pushing
Yeah.
them away, get at it. Like I need to do work. I'm so focused on a few hours from now, a few weeks from now. Like, and that's what I mean. I think there's a lot of us that are lazy. So yes, it's good to have that motivation or to work hard. But I think there's a lot of us then that get the wrong impression or the wrong message from it, where we got to work hard and yes, think about the future, but enjoy today. And I think I'm going to say almost 99% of us do not actually live in the now. We just don't. You know what I mean? We
Exactly. Yeah,
don't.
I know. I agree. And so kind of in that vein a little bit is so like time management and the importance of time management.
Yes.
How can somebody utilize manifestation? I can't even say that word.
Yeah.
I trip over it every time I go to say it.
Yeah, I
Um,
do. There's a thing I know. I do this.
seriously, um,
Sorry.
with a glass of
Uh,
wine, it's probably impossible.
yeah.
But like, how do you incorporate time management with manifestation to make that work? Is there a way to do that?
Definitely. There's one of my favorite tips, and it's something I struggle with, and I use it on myself, is do the things you don't want to do first. If you know the things you
Yeah,
don't want to do, you're going to put them off to the end of the day, or you're just not going to do them. And I always think to myself, do that first. Do the non-sexy work first. Do the
yeah,
stuff that's so boring, that feels like forever. And I mean, it's even, this might sound so funny, but I can remember even just little things like if my wife wants to, oh, we got to fix this, or hey, can we just like do a quick declutter of the room? And I'm always like, oh no, it's going to take so long. And I can remember one day
yeah,
I'm like, sec, if I just do this right now, it's going to take 30 minutes to an hour, and then I never have to do it again. Just do it.
yeah,
Just do it.
yeah.
That's the biggest issue I see is, I mean, very highly successful people, I feel like, of course, they're doing this. Their
Hmm.
routine is probably so solid, they're okay. But for the majority of us, for all of us, like we have to be so conscious in that moment and think, okay, if I don't do this, what am I really going to do? Am I going to do a little work and then mess around on TikTok or YouTube? You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Look at
yeah.
some fun, silly stuff. And because I do the same thing. And I'm like, no, I got to be focused. If I can get some momentum going for the day, that is everything. And I just would like to add to this a little bit. One
Yeah,
thing I'm even working on with myself, again, enjoy the moment. Don't go crazy, killing yourself, working yourself to death,
right.
but also be realistic. And there's even times I've recently had some really late nights where I'm doing more YouTube videos. I'm doing more for TikTok. Like I just told myself, I'm like, you know what? What if I stayed up a little bit later? What if I did a little bit more work? I can sleep in, I can figure it out, but I think
Mhm.
I could do more in that day. And if everyone just gave 5% more to that day, just that
Yeah,
much, it builds up over time. That's a lot of freaking momentum.
it's true, right? Like I actually just did a video recently about that, like getting up an hour earlier and how much
Yeah.
time you gain in a year. That is true, and it's really important because people, when you have the energy, is when you should be doing the stuff that that it's really mindless. But the more
Yeah.
you think about the things that you don't want to do, that's what holds you back, right? So get it out of the way so that when you're feeling a little bit sluggish and stuff, and you can put yourself into something exciting, it helps you kind of get a little bit of a kickstart as well, right? Um,
100%.
so can you I don't know, just give us some kind of examples on some of the successes you've had with your clients and what you've seen happen for people. I see definitely in TikTok you post a lot of stuff that people are saying like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened, right? But what are some of
Oh
those
yeah.
things that
The biggest thing I'll say, the majority of my clients, it always is like love related. I feel
yeah,
it's like, I would say the majority of my clients are female, but I have a lot of male clients as well. But a lot of them either are having issues, they either broke up or they're trying to get back together, or they're trying to bring in an SP. And Yeah, it's amazing. I sometimes it happens so quickly just by a few little tweaks. You know, one thing that
Hmm.
I do is, like we said in the beginning, with my ability to visualize or just everything that I did for myself, I will do these things. I call them quantum visualization runs, where I do this every single day. I put on headphones and I listen to soundtrack music. Like that's the main thing I'll
Right.
do, any type, but I will visualize so intensely whatever that person will say. So like someone will come to me and say, "Hey, I want to get back with my ex. We just broke up a week ago. Like, I don't know, it's been, here's a picture of us." I will visualize them together, them making up, them being on a date. And the way that I do it, I put so much feeling into it, like I'm there. And it's every time I do it, I mean, it's very spiritual. There's something to it where I feel
Hmm.
so connected to them. And almost like I'll call it, like it's like I give this like aggressive drive, like I just like, no, like this is gonna happen. I try to give all that I can to that client in
Hmm.
that. That's part of it. Like I said, I do that every day, multiple times a day. I'm always freaking running. I got one of my shoes has a freaking huge hole in it, and I took a picture showing everybody that. But along with that, then like I said, that's where the whole mindset comes in, where with a lot of my clients, just a few little tweaks of, hey, see
Yeah.
yourself as a goddess, see yourself as incredible, tell yourself you love yourself and you deserve the best. They do these few tweaks and it's like, boom,
Yeah.
instant. It's like, wow.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. So I have two questions, I guess, based on that. So one would be like, how did it evolve into, what your specialty is or whatever? Like, I guess, like, how did that happen? Was that just something that happened? Like, I know, for example, when I started coaching, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be a life coach, and then, quickly into it, I realized that I was a better business coach and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So how did it work for you?
It's funny. With this, I want to say this the right way. I feel, again, I know I manifested this, but in a different way. And I just know, you could say God, the universe, like aligned it to where I would be at my best. I could give my best abilities to everyone. I could
Right.
share my, I could be my best. And it's funny with it, like I've been doing this now over a year, and when I started, I just was coaching a few people doing calls. But I can remember my wife's like, you need to start advertising on TikTok. You need to do this on TikTok. And I kept laying it off, laying it off, laying it off. And then finally this one weekend, it was like raining out. I can remember this. And I put on my Viking outfit. I had this little Viking outfit. I'm like, I'm just gonna be me. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm like, whatever. And it did so well. It was my first video and it did incredible. I'm like, wow, okay, this is cool. And so that developed. I got more clients there. But the same thing, I do these runs every day. I was doing it for myself. I did it for a few clients and friends, and I was like, you know what? It was the weirdest thing. I can remember I was like, what if I did this for others? Like, what if I helped people and I actually did this for
Hmm.
them, taught them, but gave them kind of my energy within this and visualized for them? And it's like, nah, I don't know. It probably won't work. I'm not going to do that. Like, I don't know. No one would understand. And then a month later, the thought came up again. And I can remember just saying, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to do it. I'll see if people like
Yeah.
it. Caught on. I started doing more. And like I said, the success, it was just, I feel what I do is the perfect storm where I'm visualizing it for them. They're visualizing it. I'm telling them how to be, what mindset to be in. And it's
Right.
like, it's
There's a
like almost the
connection.
power of prayer. They would say, like, when people come together, more people are thinking
Yeah.
on it. It's putting more into it. And almost in a way, you could say it's like we're creating a thought paradigm. Like if multiple people are thinking about something, all of a sudden it manifests
Yeah.
itself. And
Right.
yeah, I'll tell you, there's some cases where it just blows my mind. I had this one
Yeah.
client, me and her, we were working like in the beginning where she wanted to get over just this one guy. And I was right away like, yeah, like, I mean, helped her mindset with him. My girl, you really are a goddess and you have to believe this. You're gorgeous. You're incredible. Like you have to go about your day not expecting any less than that, than perfection. I shit you not, 3 weeks later, she met a few guys, but she met this guy. I believe he was from Europe, somewhere in Germany. He flew out to California to see her. He proposed to her. I can remember that. Like, me and her hadn't
Wow.
talked and she sends me this picture of this huge ring, and she's like, Adonis, oh my gosh. Like, I can just remember that was one of the best where I'm just like, wow, this is insane.
Yeah.
And a month earlier, she was so upset by this one guy who was, jerking around on her and just being a jerk. And it's just crazy in a month the switch like that, where I even was like, okay, this is wild. This is crazy.
Yeah. It's amazing. And so like, in that same vein, again, with that question, even though you specialize in that area, it's not just that. It could be anything, right? So it could be like,
Yeah,
it could be business, it could be success, it could be whatever somebody wants, right? The
absolutely.
principles are all the same,
Absolutely. I'll
right?
tell you, I have one even here. It can be anything. One of my favorite freaking clients, he's God, I think he's like 19 years old. He wants to be taller. He's an athlete and he's manifesting height. And I shit you not, we are putting so much effort into that. And he just keeps growing and growing. And I mean, that's something so different than it's not love, it's
Yeah.
abundance. He wants to be taller. And even today, he told me he got accepted into this huge swim academy. I mean, he just keeps going, 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 going. And he was like one of those words like, Adonis, I'm working with you for life, man. This is amazing. And I keep it's that's again where he, like we said earlier, he wants to become that person. You know what I mean? He doesn't
Yeah.
expect to be the same guy, but oh, I just want to be taller. He's like, I want to be that guy. I want to be giant. I'm going to be him. And by doing that, I want to say this. I've said this a lot. I don't like the word belief in the sense that there's still doubt. And that's what I always tell my
Right.
clients is I know. Like, there's a big difference between knowing and believing, And I
Yes.
say this to my clients all the time. I don't like to say I hope you're having a good day. I say I know you're having a good day, because I always feel like, oh, I hope you're
Mhm.
having a good day. There's like hope is such a beautiful word, but at the same time, there's that little bit of doubt in hope. Or when
Yes.
you say,
Right.
I know that I'm going to do this, I just know it,
Yeah.
and I'm not stopping until the known is freaking here.
Exactly. That's awesome. What what kind of advice can you give somebody? Like, just say you're a person who's really struggling, and you can do better than you're doing, and you just need some direction. Like, what, a lot of people have religious beliefs or things like that. But what, in
Sure.
terms of helping somebody get over a, a hump of some sort, to just try to start believing in themselves, like, what would you suggest somebody does?
This is going to be so simple, and this makes me emotional thinking about it, because I actually last night I just been overwhelmed with a lot of things, and I halfway through the night I kind of woke up almost like a night terror kind of thing, bad dream, was feeling real sweaty, just like I'm just kind of a little anxiety. And the thing that I always say, and I tell people to say this, is just I love you. I love you. I'll say that to myself. And if someone is having a bad day right now watching this,
Mhm.
the first thing, if you could just say to yourself, I love you, to yourself, meaning that to
Yeah.
yourself, you got your own back, you love yourself, I love you, it's going to be okay, I love you, it's going to be okay, just something along the lines like that. Boom, you just said the best thing you could say to yourself.
Yeah.
Now, even with that, if you love yourself, do something good. I tell this to my
Yeah.
clients all the time with detachment. Enjoy that great cup of coffee. When you're looking at nature, you're looking at the sunset, don't just, oh yeah, great, that's a pretty one, another sunset. What if that's the last one? Really look
Yeah.
at, marvel at how insane it is. It's amazing, the little things that we can do. If we can build that momentum of happiness, oh my, it is so different.
Yeah.
That's start with that, feel in that good place, and things will just, that snowball effect, it's just going to get better and
Yeah.
better.
That is true. What happens, like, when you start, and you even, you start in the smallest way, and then it just keeps escalating. Because what I think also people struggle with is, when somebody's in a negative sense, like like a fixed mindset as opposed to a growth mindset, they dwell on like, why is this happening to me? Like, why is this always happening to me?
Yes.
And a lot of my clients come to me with that attitude of like, why isn't my business successful? Why is everybody like trashing my business? Well, nobody's really trashing your business. You're not doing anything in your business to accommodate your clients' needs. That's what you need to do,
Yes.
right? Like you have to change what you're
Yeah.
doing to make that happen. And it can be the people don't realize it can be the smallest thing because it does. It's just like equating it to a snowball, right? And just keep rolling it and rolling it and rolling it, and you're done, right? So
100%. Absolutely, 100%. I feel, just to even say within that, like loving yourself, feeling so good. I think a big thing, I grew up with a Christian background and stuff, and I would
mhm.
always pray to God in a sense, and I think that's great. I think anyone watching,
Yeah,
I think it's beautiful to have that. But one thing that's always bothered me in life is that you pray to God like, God, please love me. Like if God loves me, it's okay, but what if you don't love yourself?
exactly.
If you actually love yourself, it's almost as if you are experiencing God within you, almost like you're here looking at yourself saying, you know what? I love
Yeah,
you. Because that's everyone will want everyone to love them. They'll want the creator of the universe to love them, but yet
they
they
don't love
can't even
themselves.
do it for themselves. And if you can't say it to yourself, that's the
That's
first step.
huge. That's
Yeah.
huge. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's and it
Yeah.
and so true, right? Like,
Yeah.
how can you possibly give something like that to somebody else if you can't do it for yourself, right? It's not
100%.
possible. So,
100%.
well, that's great. Like, do you have anything else you can tell us that you want to get off your chest and make sure we know before we wrap up?
Yeah, the last thing I would say with all of it, with manifesting everything, is one thing I always like to tout is detachment. If you can detach from things, like it, all of it coincides together. Know what your goals are and know that you're going to do them. Know that your
Yeah,
life is going to be awesome. And then in doing that, detach. Don't keep wondering, when's he going to call me? When's the money going to
right.
get in? When can I get the car? When am I going to get the house? When I'll be, and the thing I can't stand the most that ruins our life is I'll be happy when.
Yeah,
I'll be happy when. No, be happy right now. I'm
yeah,
happy. I'm sitting in a great chair. We're having a great conversation.
yeah,
It's a beautiful day. There's nothing I could complain about right now. And even if I could, I don't want to. Like, that's what I mean. Be
yeah,
happy right now. When you choose happiness, everything's going to
yeah.
flow.
It kind of takes you back to living in the moment, right? Like
100%.
what you have right now, if you think that that is all you'll ever have, then you have to be happy with it. Like you can't be thankful for something in the future if you're not happy with what you have now, right? Like you
100%.
need to have that now. So
100%.
this
Yeah.
has been like an amazing conversation. I really
Yes,
appreciate you
absolutely.
taking the
I do
time.
too. This
It's
was a
awesome.
blast. It was
Yeah.
awesome. Absolutely.
So if people want to get in touch with you, I'm gonna once I do the video, I'll post it on the video as well. But if people are watching when we're playing it and just want to get in touch with you, how do they go about doing that?
Yeah, the main spot would be my website. It's manifestwithadonis.com. And
Okay.
then they can also find me on Instagram, Adonis Bjornson. There's it, I got the blue check mark on there
Yeah.
verified. And same thing as well on TikTok, Adonis Bjornson.
Perfect. That's
Yeah.
great. I'm just totally pumped with this. I love it. This is the
Yeah,
best first
dude,
video I can
it
imagine.
was such a
So
great time.
you're
It
such
was
a
a
great person to speak with. I really appreciate it.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And enjoy the rest of your day. Take it easy. And I'm sure we'll be in touch again.
Definitely. You too.
All
It
right.
was an absolute pleasure. You
Take
have a great
care.
day.
You
Bye.
too. I'm just going to